Hey everyone, welcome to My Final Play. We're here on location at the Liberty Arena in Williamsport, PA, and we're here with a very special guest today, Tesa McKibben. Tesa played soccer at a very elite level, and we're just very glad to have her as the first female athlete on the show. So thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
So we'll get right into the just sports in general and how, from a young age, did sports shape your life?
So I started playing soccer around 3.5, 4. I tried cheerleading for a year, didn't really work out. Got into soccer because I wanted to do everything my sister did. So she played AYSO, so Tesa had to play AYSO.
Right.
So it started in the U6 micro level, but I was 3.5, 4 playing with 6-year-olds. Played that for a couple years. My parents used to say that I didn't make a lot of friends because I used to score too many goals in the game. So after that, I kind of got picked up by FC Montour, and we formed a team with some of my best friends growing up, and who were ridiculous and just murdered everybody all the time. But played that up until like U13, and then those same people got me into basketball. Was playing basketball in 5th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, up until high school, and then started track in high school because everybody told me I was fast, so I decided to give that a try. It's literally been the only thing I've known since I was 4 years old. Between me and my brother and my sister, my sister played soccer up until I think she was 13, but she's always been a competitive cheerleader, and then my brother played soccer and basketball and did track as well, so it's been our entire lives for 22 years now. 23 years.
So at what level, what was the highest level that you played at then?
So I played overseas in the 2nd tier of the Bundesliga on the women's side in Germany.
Okay. So to get to that point, you're in high school, you're looking at colleges, not looking at colleges. Explain that whole thing, because I know you ended up going D1 St. Francis.
Yes. So I, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, did not have any clue what I wanted to do in terms of career, in terms of schooling, what level I wanted to play at, what sport I wanted to play. So it was kind of always on the back burner for me. I actually didn't even start thinking about, I have to apply for colleges or look at colleges until the summer going into my senior year. Is when I was really like, I graduate in like 8 months, I should probably start looking. So I sat down with my high school coach and we filled out some recruiting questionnaires, and I had really big dreams, so I filled out one for Virginia and University of West Virginia and Virginia Tech and North Carolina and Penn State, and nobody told me, like, Tesa, you're way late to the game. Like, you're years behind. So unfortunately didn't get any responses back, didn't get any looks from any schools up until that point, didn't really have any offers. And then our high school team went to the Penn State camp, the team camp.
Right.
A camp with probably 600 girls, 25, 30 coaches, and Brenda, the St. Francis coach, was our coach for the week. And at that point, I had not decided what I wanted to do in college. I didn't know if I wanted to play basketball. I didn't know if I wanted to run track or play soccer. So the week goes by, and Brenda comes up to me and asks me what school I'm going to, and where I plan on playing soccer. And I looked at her and I said, I'm not going to college. She's like, what? I was like, no, I'm going to college, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what school I'm going to.
Right.
I have no idea. And she goes, you're not committed yet? I was like, no. She goes, okay. So I talked to her a little bit more, and she was like, I'd really like to have you at St. Francis.
Right.
Can we make this work? And I said, honestly, you're the first school to tell me that you want me to play soccer, so sure, like, we'll figure it out. And then we talked a little bit more, and I told her I kind of wanted to do track too, because at the time I thought it was my best sport. That's where I was getting the most looks from and the most interest, so I was like, I must be really good at this. This must be what I'm supposed to do. So at that point, I told her, I was like, yeah, maybe track and soccer. She's like, okay, we'll figure it out. You're kind of late to the game, but we might have some money left for you. We'll figure it out. So I sent her my track times. We talked to the track coach. Track coach was on board for me to do both sports. She was on board. She didn't like it, but she was okay with it because it's what I wanted.
Right.
So they basically gave me a scholarship offer and then split it between the two programs.
Okay.
Fast forward 2.5 months, 3 months into the fall season, and I get a message from Brenda letting me know, hey, check your email, like the track coach messaged you. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun. This is exciting. Open the email. Yeah, I am leaving St. Francis. Unfortunately, I can't guarantee that you'll have scholarship with the next coach. Not really sure what you want to do, but just wanted to let you know I'm really sorry. So I was like, oh, great. Makes sense. Total sense for my recruiting process. Yeah, it's fine. So the new track coach comes in and unfortunately wasn't on board.
Yeah.
Didn't really want me. Basically flat out said, I can't give you a scholarship. I've never seen you run.
Yeah.
I've never seen you jump. I don't know what you can do. Which didn't make sense because track is times and distances. So you would think you can know what I do. It's on paper right there. Yeah. So I kind of lost the track scholarship. And Brenda was over the moon. She was like, great, now you can just play soccer. This is fine. And at that point, it was kind of, again, the only offer I had. And she made me feel wanted. So I was like, all right, I'm in. So I actually signed. I had decided to go to St. Francis kind of over the summer, right in the beginning of fall season, August, September at time. But actually decided just to play soccer at St. Francis around February of my senior year.
So this is a situation where up until this summer between your junior and senior year, you, at this point, do you know what your goal total was or point total was at Montoursville at that point? No. Okay, so I mean, like, but was it in the back of your mind as far as like, you know, being close to setting it, or at that point was it already?
For me, I didn't keep. If I'm being completely honest with you, I did not keep track of my goals.
Right.
To me, it was more important that my team won a state championship.
Yeah.
Or won a game, or won in general, or we played well.
Yeah.
Now my dad, on the other hand, kept track of everything. So he would always be in the back. You need this many more. You need this many more. And I'm like, can you just let me play? Like, I don't want to think about it, because when I think about it, I'm not going to play well. I'm not going to, like, going into the game to score 100 goals, I remember I needed 2 goals.
Yeah. My
dad was like, you only need 2. Like, you're playing Mifflinburg. They're not very good. Like, you can do it. You can do it. You scored a hat trick last time. When I tell you this was the worst game I played in high school, I couldn't, my feet weren't working, couldn't run, couldn't do anything. Like, it was a struggle. I got the 2 goals, but it was a struggle.
Yeah.
I think we beat them like 7-0.
Oh.
But it was like the worst game I've ever played. So for me, I didn't keep track of that, and I didn't really think growing up. I mean, I had the dream to play at the next level, but I never thought, oh, you're good enough to do that. It was kind of just like, yeah, you're a good soccer player. People tell you you're good, but are you that good? Or are you just good for this area? Are you just good for that team? Like, is the team you're playing against just really bad? That's what I always thought. I was like, they're just not very good. You're not really good. They're just not very good at all.
But how long was the team camp?
5 days. No, 6 days. 6 days.
It only took 5 days or 6 days with the coach of St. Francis to be able to get everything put into motion to get you that scholarship.
Yeah.
So that's definitely saying something.
Yeah, I think Brenda's always seen the better side of me. I mean, I'm always. I had to go to a sports psychologist like 3 times a week my senior year because I was a mental case. I was always, I'm not good enough. I'm not playing well. I'm playing like crap. I'm awful. I'm terrible. And I'd score a goal, and we'd win 2-0 or 2-1. And Brenda's like, can you just relax, please? Like, relax. She always has seen the player that I wished I could be, and always knew I had it in me. Didn't remind me of it all the time, but for I think like you said, that those 5 days, like she saw in me what I didn't.
Right.
And because of that, that's why she was like, yes, come, like, we want you.
Right.
And I was just like, this is weird. Like, I didn't know I was good enough to play at that level. So
before we get into the final play of it, even at St. Francis, let's go through some of that stuff. I mean, you were 4-time Golden Boot?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What about some of the other things?
So I actually,
put you on the spot.
It's okay. I was actually I hate talking about myself too, so it's not gonna be good. I was actually at St. Francis for 5 seasons.
Okay.
4.5 years. In the 3rd game my freshman year, I actually tore my ACL, my MCL, and my meniscus, and was out for 12 months. So I redshirted that year and then came back as a redshirted freshman, technically sophomore school, and then played 4 years after that.
Okay.
I was player of the year 4 times for the NEC conference.
Yeah.
4 times Golden Boot, which is like the highest goal scorer. And then I was 2-time academic All-American, and I was on the Mackerman Trophy watch list.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Definitely attribute it to the girls I play with. And I know that sounds so cliche, but so there was a girl up top that I played with. Her name's Barbara, Maros de Carvalho. She's actually from Brazil. She's probably about this big,
Yeah.
weighs maybe 90. I think she actually weighed 90 pounds, like not even exaggeration. I think the scale said 90. And just ridiculous. Like every ball she played to me was I just had tapped in.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my numbers, when you look on paper and you're like, oh my gosh, she scored that many goals, they made it so easy. I mean, it was, if I didn't score that many, it'd be like, dude, you shouldn't be playing soccer. Like, this is not very good.
Somebody had to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of my numbers came from the girls I played with, and Ellie up top too, like,
Yeah.
just very good at, this is going to sound terrible, but very good at creating space and getting out of the way.
Yeah.
And because of that, opened up a lot of space for Barb on one side and me on the other to just work and find the crosses. So
Right.
without them, just never would have had those numbers at all.
So we talked a little bit off camera that before the dream of playing overseas came at a very young age.
Yeah.
But when did it really become a reality? In college, was it in high school? When did you really know, okay, I got a shot at doing this?
So, like I told you, I was probably 10 when I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Europe and play.
Yeah.
Like, it was just Europe. Who wouldn't want to go to Europe? Who wouldn't want to go to Europe? And at the time, I mean, the leagues here were forming and then folding and then forming. So I was like, when I get to that point, there might not be a league here. I don't have that option. So it was always like, yeah, I'm going to go to Europe. Like, I'm dead set on it. And I always said that, but I've also said that, like, I was going to go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Obviously not going to happen. So a lot of the dreams that I had for myself, I would just say things and hoping that they would come to fruition, but not always. But this is going to sound really crazy, but it didn't hit me until my senior year of college. It was 2 or 3 games before conference finals.
Yeah.
And my coach comes up to me, again, don't know why she did this because that was a head case, comes up to me before the game and goes, just to let you know, I have some coaches in where'd she say, either the Netherlands, I think it was the Netherlands, in Holland.
Yeah.
I have some coaches that are going to watch you play today on the live stream.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I go, why? I was screaming at her right before the game's about to start. We're like, me and my partner are passing back and forth, and I looked at her, I'm like, why would you tell me that? And she goes, because it's supposed to like pump you up to play well. I go, Brenda, you've known me for 4.5 years. That's not going to end well.
Right.
And I played awful. I did. And she came up to me after the game and she goes, yeah, I shouldn't have told you that. Like, we still won, but it was an ugly game. And she goes, okay, they're going to watch again, but I won't tell you next time. So I was like, okay, thank God, because that was awful. You can't put that amount of pressure on me. So that's when it kind of hit me that, like, oh, okay, like, I have somebody on my side that can help me make this dream a reality. Like,
awesome.
I told her so many times, like, she kept asking me, what do you want to do after college? Do you want to play or do you want to, like, go into the workforce? And I was like, do I want to work? No. What is work? I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like, of course I want to play. She was like, where? I was like, anywhere that'll take me. Like, I just want to play. Like, I just want to keep playing. I can't imagine not playing after this. And then, so that whoever it was watched me again, and they were really impressed, Brenda said. And then she came up to me and she goes, you know what? You're too good for that league. I don't want you going there. So I was like, oh, God. Here we go again. So the process kind of started all over again. And I remember, so we won conference my senior year, and we went to the first round of NCAAs, and lucky us, we drew the number 1 team in the country, Virginia, who had 3 current national team players on it. Danny Calaprico, Emily Sonnet, and Bria Bryan. All 3 starters for Virginia, all now on the national team.
Great.
We drew them. Great game. Okay? So after the game, I remember coming off the field, like, bawling my eyes out. We got slaughtered, 5-0.
Yeah.
Granted, we gave them 2 goals, literally passed it right to them, but we played decent. They had beat Maryland the same year 5-0, Penn State 6-0, so we were kind of on par with how they were beating teams.
Right.
I remember coming off the field and, like, I don't know why, but I took my jersey off.
Yeah.
And I started, like, I was just bawling, and Brenda was like, what is, like, looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, you had a great career. You just played against the number 1 team and played pretty well against very, very good people. And I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to wear this jersey. Like, I can't even imagine, like, not playing for this school anymore. And she goes, you're going to be playing in, like, 6 months. Sit down. Like, stop. Like, everybody else has a reason to cry. You do not. Like, you're going to keep playing after this. And that's when it was like, oh, you're right. Like,
I'm not done.
I'm not done. I still have some time left. So she was always the one to kind of, like, remind me, like, yes, that's your dream, but you're going to accomplish it, and I'm going to make sure that you do.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I credit her a lot for everything.
Definitely somebody fighting for you.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So you played in Germany, 2 different teams, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what was the length of time that you played there?
So I went to, always slaughter how you say these because obviously I'm not German. But I went to Würzburg, which is kind of central Germany. I played there for 6 months. That was the team I started with. Same second tier Bundesliga side, but usually towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Usually fighting for relegation.
Yeah.
Fighting to get out of those bottom 2 spots. Winning maybe by like a point to stay out of relegation to go down to 3rd.
Yeah.
Loved the girls. Did not like the way the team was run. Did not like my living situation. So I really had to like beg my parents to get out of that situation because I had to pay a transfer fee because the team did not want me to leave.
Okay.
So I had to pay a €1,200 out of my own pocket transfer fee to leave to talk to other coaches.
Oh wow.
At the time, the team that I ended up going to, which is FC Saarbrücken, which is southwest corner of Germany, like right along the border of France, their coach had actually reached out to my so-and-so agent. He was like, we want her. Like, if she's leaving, we want her.
Okay.
And at the time, I was like, I don't know, you want me? Like, I'm injured. I had been injured my first year.
Yeah.
Only played half the games. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to go play again. My ankle was so bad. And I was like, all right, you're going to take a chance on me? Like, I'm going to make this happen. So paid the transfer fee, started talking to him, kind of got everything switched over to the new city. And it was such a great team. Like, I never even met the coach, never even did anything. And I'm just like, yes, I'm going to play for you. Like, you want me? I'm coming.
Right.
So transferred over, ended up being there for three full seasons. Absolutely love that team, that program, the administration, literally everything about them.
Yeah.
Such a great experience, very professionally run. Really care about the players. They made sure that I had full health insurance while I was over there, which I really needed. I had like 10 different MRIs when I was over there. So yeah, they really took care of me over there, and that's where I ended up staying for 3 seasons. So.
Okay. So then the final play. Explain the situation. You know, who were you playing against?
No,
Okay.
Don't remember. I know it was an away game. I remember they were in white. Fortunately, that was a play that ended my career.
Yeah.
Probably about 20-25 minutes left in the game. I went to shoot a ball on top of the 18. I think we were at that point we were winning 2-0. I went to shoot a ball on the top of the 18. We were killing them, so it wasn't like a close game, but we just couldn't score.
Right.
And I went to shoot, and before I shot, it was kind of muddy, so I kind of twisted a little bit. And then I shot, and when I shoot, I kind of jump a little bit. So I came down and landed on my left leg, and when I landed, I twisted again, and I actually tore my meniscus in half. So that was my final play.
Yeah.
But I remember, so over there you only get 3 subs. 3 subs per game. After that, if you need a 4 sub, you play down a player.
Right.
Because it was 2-0. They had actually just scored almost probably like 5 minutes after that happened. And I was not okay. I was running with like a severe limp.
Yeah.
I knew something was wrong. But I knew at 2-1 with 20 minutes left, I was like, we already used all of our subs. I'm like, I'm not gonna let my teammates down and make them play down a player and lose this game. Like, we need this win. So I hobbled around the field for a little bit longer. And they had moved me up to striker, so that I normally played left wing, which is like literally end line to end line the whole game. But because I couldn't run too well, they moved me to the point striker and moved somebody else out there so I could kind of just like stand and kind of receive and play.
Right.
And I remember after the game, I went up to the coach and I looked at him and I was like, something's torn in my knee. And his face just dropped because we were only 6 games in.
Right.
6 games into the season.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was playing really well at that point. Probably the best I've ever played because, I don't know if you know, I took a year off. I had full ankle reconstruction.
Okay.
So I took a full season off.
Yeah.
And nobody thought I'd go back because of the surgery I had. And I rehabbed and I was like, I feel really good. I was like, let's give it a try. So I contacted the coach and he's like, yes, come back. Like, we want you.
Right.
I was like, okay. So I went back and was playing really, really well. We played 6 games and I was at 6 goals and 3 assists in 6 games.
Oh, wow.
So I was the best. That's better numbers than I had in a full season before.
Right.
So I was just clicking really well with the teammates. We were all having fun. Like, we were just playing really well as a team, which made it easy for me to relax and just play.
Play the game.
And then that happened, and his face, he was like so mad and like so upset because he didn't understand. So
Right.
he was like, go to the trainer, and our trainer was great. She she's actually the national team trainer for the youth side over there.
Okay.
So she's great. She knows her stuff. But unfortunately, went to her, did some tests on my knee, and goes, "Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong." She said, "You might have just twisted a little bit. You might have got kicked or something." I was like, "No." I was like, "I can't bend my leg all the way, and I can't straighten it all the way. Something's wrong." And she was like, "I can't see it." So I went home, actually. I'd already booked a flight home because my sister just had a baby.
Okay.
So tore my meniscus. The next morning, I left to come home, like 8-hour flight home to be home for a week to see my niece, and then fly back. And I get back, and my coach messages me right away, like, "How are you feeling? Like, are you walking?" And I was like, "Actually, 100 times worse." I was like, "I really can't bend or straighten my knee now." I was like, "It completely locked up on me." I was like, "I really think I need an MRI." He was like, "Okay." So go get my 10th MRI over there, and the doctor comes back and was like, "Yep, your meniscus is torn in half." It's like, "Oh, cool, great. I knew that." Like, it's relieving to know that, like, there actually is something wrong and I'm not crazy.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh yeah, and by the way, your ACL surgery that you had 9 years ago, yeah, the screw of one of the screws that's supposed to be in your bone is currently just floating in your kneecap. So we're gonna have to remove that too."
Word.
Yeah. So he thinks, like, I had a lot of knee pain the last like year and a half before I tore my meniscus, and he was like, "That's probably what was causing all your pain," and nobody would know because it's just floating around in there. So they removed that, stitched up my meniscus. Doctor was like, "It'll be 4 to 6 weeks until you're back full," and I was like, "That's great because I can just relax over winter, but like sit out the rest of the season, take winter break off, and then come back and play the spring season, and then be done, retire after that." It's like I can play 11 more games and then retire. Yeah, it took me 6 months to recover. I didn't get back to full strength for 6 months.
So as far as that being your final play, when did that whole realization sink in? Because obviously you had that anticipation of getting back in.
He said 6 weeks, and I was like, I was so excited. I was like, perfect. I was like standing over him as he's showing me pictures on the computer. I was like, yeah, like high-fiving him, like, this is awesome, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And then it got to, I forget what it was probably 4 weeks post-op, and they were like, "All right, you can start running." I stepped on a treadmill, and I could barely walk. I went to like try to run, and my knee just kind of like buckled, and I had this sharp shooting pain that was like going through my kneecap, and I was like, "All right, not a good day to run. Like, let's try again." I was like, "I'll take 2 days off and I'll try again." Tried again, nothing. Same thing. 2 days off, tried again, nothing. And this was like a 4-week cycle of like trying to just get back to running.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it. And then nobody could explain to me why it took me so long to recover when I had recovered so quickly from my ACL and my ankle surgery and my other knee surgery and just everything that had gone wrong with my body before that. I recovered so quickly from.
Right.
And this, what they expected to be a 6-week recovery, turned into a 6-month recovery. Nobody can explain it, but I just don't. I honestly am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I was meant to play those last 11 games. And I don't know if it was because I was going to get another injury or it just wasn't where I was supposed to be in my life. I don't know. But I remember I came home. So I kind of realized it when I went back overseas and I wasn't playing and I was watching the team. I was like, "I can't do this. I can't even run right now. I can't watch you guys play soccer because I should be out there with you." I was just very frustrated, so I was like, I went to my coaches and I was like, "Listen, for my own mental health, I need to move home. I need to retire. I need to move home. I need to leave here because right now I'm on my own and mentally I'm going nuts in my room by myself. Like I can't play. I don't come to practice because it's too cold to come to practice and sit there and do nothing. So I'm just in my house all the time. I can't be here," is what I said.
Right.
So they released me and they let me come home. So I moved home, actually on Valentine's Day last year. And when I got home, within 2 weeks, about 3 weeks, I got a call from the Lyconic coach because he found out I was home.
Yeah.
And he called me into his office, and I had emailed him prior to that, just saying like, "Hey, like next fall I'm gonna be home. Do you think I can come on as a volunteer assistant and just get to know the college game and like understand it?" And again, it kind of just fell in my lap. His assistant moved back to California, and he was like, "Do you want to be my assistant?" I came into the office. He was like, "Do you want to be my assistant?" I was like, "You mean volunteer?" And he was like, "No, like my paid assistant." And I was like, "Yes." I was like, do I even think about it? I was like, "Of course." And he goes, "Do you don't want to like think?" And I go, "No." I was like, "I'm on. Like I'm in 100%."
Yeah.
So like that's what I think. Like everything just happens for a reason. I don't think if I stayed and played, I think he would have found another assistant, and that opportunity wouldn't have been there for me, and I wouldn't be in the college game like I am now. So.
Yeah.
like I said, I've been very fortunate that everything kind of just falls for me in a terrible way, but the right way. If that makes sense.
Well, I mean, obviously, those emotions are something that played a role in that final aspect of it, and as that progressed after the injury. Now, so how does that play into what you're doing today, and what are you doing today?
So I actually I very lightly call it a business. Everybody else calls it a business. I very lightly call it that. But I run a training company called All for One. And what I do is I run individual sessions, small group sessions, team sessions, team camps. I basically am a contracted in coach. So if you want your daughter to get better at foot skills, then you can hire me and I'll work with her. Or if you want your team to have a team session that they want to work on something specific, or they want to do a team camp, you can call me and I'll come in and do that, and I'll drive to you, and I'll do, basically you tell me what you want to do and I'll make a session for that, or I'll make a camp based on that. So I do that, and then I also am the assistant coach at Like Humbly. So kind of have best of both worlds. I get to work with 7 to 17-year-olds, and then I get to work with 17 to 21-year-olds.
So with soccer, typically one of the things that I would ask would be if you could go back to a younger you, but the way that everything is played out, this is still doing your dream. And soccer has been able to give you that opportunity. If you could go back, would you do anything different?
I get that question a lot because everyone always asks me, why did you go to St. Francis? Why? Like, you obviously played really well there. You obviously could have played at a different level. Why did you go to St. Francis? And I say, I tell them why. It's the only school that offered me. And they said, would you change anything? Would you do the recruiting process different now? And I said, no. I said, maybe I would have started a little sooner just to give myself options, but I would not trade anything in my life that has happened to me, even the injuries, which I've had 3 knee surgeries and a complete ankle reconstruction. So I've had my fair share of like hardcore injuries, but I don't think I would be the player or person I am now without them. I don't think if I tore my ACL my freshman year, I would have worked as hard to get back and to prove that I could play at that level and that I could stay healthy at that level. I just don't think I would do it. I wouldn't change anything.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, and it's definitely something that, going from the age of 3.5 to starting, and those dreams, and to just fulfill them. And what would you say would be the number one characteristic that you've learned that's got you through all of that?
Again, cliche, hard work. I mean, I can't say that enough. I don't say that like, oh, I was the hardest working athlete ever. I wasn't. There were days where I slacked off, and there was weeks and months where I was like, you know what? I won't do it. But so growing up, I just loved the game. It wasn't that I had the mentality that I'm going to work this hard. It was, I want to play with the soccer ball because I love it. So I would go, we have an unfinished basement in my house with cement floors and cinder block walls, and I'd be down there with my dog trying to keep the ball away from him, or just passing the ball off the wall because I loved it. Like, that was my life, and that's all I knew. And I didn't know at the time, like, it was making me a really good player. I was having fun. Like, that was, my parents, like, Tessa, come on, time to go to bed, like, get upstairs, like, stop playing with the dog, like, stop kicking the ball around, like, or coming down and yelling at me, can you stop kicking the ball against the wall, it's so loud. Or me and my brother breaking precious moments and all these things in our house because we're kicking the ball around. So, I mean, for me, it's hard work. That's why I want to tell kids hard work, but I also want to say, like, you have to love what you do. If you really don't truly love it, you're not going to put in the time and the effort to get where you need to get. It's plain and simple. I tell kids all the time. I actually had a session with 6 to 9-year-olds last night at the Miller Center, and we're talking, and we sit down at the end, and I was like, did you have fun? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that's all that I care about. And they're like, what? Like, wait, what?
It really is that
simple. I'm like, really, that's all I care about. If you're having fun, you're going to work hard. Plain and simple. So,
Awesome.
That's all I can say.
I definitely appreciate the time and the input. And everyone, I think that you guys can definitely take away from this the same. Everything comes from the hard work that's put in and a love for doing what you are doing. Remember, whatever it is that you do today, approach it with the mindset of, is this my final play? Thanks a lot.